Hey there, StarCraft fans. It's Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. And today it's going to be a PvT between Hero and Kelazhur here on Stasis, the latter edition from IEM Katowice. Top right-hand corner of Stasis is the blue Terran player. It is Kelazhur. And in the top left-hand corner is the red Protoss player, Hero. All right, so going to be Hero versus Kelazhur in a PvT. I figured I haven't cast one of these in a while. So to keep my PvT fans happy, here you go. Whew. All right, so PvT on the mostly current patch is kind of interesting at this point. Lots of storms, lots of bio play, and cyclones are very, very good against Protoss. Holy smokes. Let's see if Kelazhur is going to open up Cyclone here. I have a feeling that he will. Okay, so double refinery. Yep, okay, so it's going to be Cyclone as far as I can tell. As near as I can tell, far as I can tell. Those mean the same thing. Hold on a second. As near as I can tell, as far as I can tell. God, it's the same. How is those two statements mean the same thing? I've been tricked by English my whole life. What is going on here? Anyway, the scout comes in, does not see the barracks. This is one of those games that are played, right? This is a game that's being played right now. Hero comes in, doesn't see a barracks, says, oh snap, there's a barracks somewhere else on the map. What he doesn't know is it's just right here in the natural base of Kelazhur. It's not far across the map, but it's actually close enough to where a Reaper is going to have a shorter rush distance to get there. The double gas says, we're not going to stick on Reaper, man. Factory's got to start here pretty darn soon. The probe is just harassing at this point, not even bothering to try to find it, which I find a little bit interesting. Like, you wouldn't do some scouting here, Hero? Perhaps he's not worried about it. He does see the factory, so he knows there's a barracks out there somewhere. Going to try to kill this SCV building it, but that's not going to happen. All right, so Reaper's name is going to be Old Man Henderson, who was investigating who stole his lawn gnomes when he accused the wrong barkeeper of storing them in a supply depot out back. 2 fires and the tanker truck incident later, Old Man Henderson was arrested by the Dominion and forced to be a Reaper. He hasn't given up on his lawn gnomes yet. Maybe those workers have them. Old Man Henderson. He is, well, he killed one worker, didn't find a lawn gnome, might as well head out to try to find some more. So factory just about done for Kelazhur. Hero's got a Stargate just about done at his base. And it did slow down the Reaper to have to go back and kill that probe. And it did let Hero know there's a Reaper on the way. I mean, generally, sometimes Terran players don't bother with the Reaper anymore, but just because Protoss have gotten so good at getting an Adept out, getting a Stalker out early, the Reaper is really just there for scouting. It can't really kill anything. Look at this Adept. You're going to hop up here? How about you take 2 shots? The 3rd shot will kill ya. Yeah, I'm going to chase you down too with my shade, but no, a little bit too sneaky here, a little bit too fetsy is our Reaper. Fetsy is a Malagasy for tricky, and I've always felt like the word is a little bit better than the word tricky is in English. I haven't retained much of my Malagasy usage from spending a couple years in Madagascar, but that is one thing. All right, so 2 Reapers now. The control here by Kelazhur is actually pretty great. He's going to keep these alive. He's continuing to scout on in here. Oracle on the way. Oracle's name is Commander Riker as 2nd in command of the Starship Enterprise. He vowed to take the place of the captain on any dangerous mission that puts the captain's life in danger. During a casual exploration of a seemingly boring planet of Ired on Stardate 41254.7, Commander Riker beamed to the surface with Commander Data to collect scientific samples. The native population, the Protoss, scanned Commander Data and thought he would be an excellent computer to use on their spaceships and locked on to his signal for transportation. Yeah, see the Cyclone chasing our Commander Riker away? However, due to errors in the beaming process, the Protoss accidentally picked up Commander Riker instead. Realizing that Commander Riker is a skilled leader, they decided to put him in charge as captain of an Oracle, which is, I really feel there's only one person in there, but I suppose they're the captain at that point, right? One-man vessel is, you're the captain? You're the captain now, I believe is how that works. Anyway, Phoenix follow-up here from Hero. He doesn't, how many Oracles does he have? It's the 2. It's got the 2, which are pretty decent for harassment, pretty decent for casting continuous revelation out on the Terran player. Marines, Cyclone, Tank, Liberator, all the things being made by Kelazhur right now. I like it. I like to call it Maru style, although I'm not sure he's the one who came up with it, but he definitely made it look good, where you just make everything as Terran, including Ravens, including battle cruisers, including Widow Mines. Just, is it on the list? Can Marines and Marauders, those guys too? Sure, why not? They can come along. Everybody is welcome under the great big tent of Maru's Terran style, and Kelazhur seems to be taking it to heart a little bit here, as he's just, it's everything, man. It's Liberators, Marines, Cyclones. It's too many units to just call it, you know, a simplified name like Marine Marauder Medevac or Roach Hydra or Bling Muta. You know what I mean? Once you go more than 3 main components here, it gets a little bit more complicated, and we just start calling it Maru style. So he is pushing out across the map here, and Terrans do feel like they really have to kill Protoss early, or else bad things happen to them in the late game. Storm, Colossus, Tempest, all sorts of crazy stuff. But this is so many Oracles from Hero. By so many, he's working on his 4th one right now, which is insane. Lock-on that Zealot. See, Lock-on doesn't even do bonus damage versus non-armored stuff, but it's so good. He uses it against non-armored stuff anyway. Adepts are trying to come in here, but there are tanks, man. I don't know about this. You're going to finish that? Yeah, these Adepts are going to die. The Oracles come cruising in on here as well, though, and trying to focus down the tank. They do focus down the tank. They lift up the Cyclone and absolutely tear through this army. The Stalkers finish off the Viking. The tanks are gone. The Cyclones are gone. Hero shut that down with extreme prejudice. Holy crap. It's 27 to 16 army supply right now. Hero has a huge lead for this stage of the game. He's pushing it across the map with his Cyclones, with his Oracles, with his Commander Riker, who has just murdered, well, Old Man Henderson has been dead for a while now, I think. Are there any Reapers left? No, definitely not. Yeah, man, I don't know how Kelazhur holds here. He's got a couple Marines, a Viking, and a tank. He's got a bunker that's going to help a little bit. The tank on the high ground is nice. The SCVs are coming in. Another tank is there, lifting on one of the tanks. Other tank does manage to set up, but he's getting focused down. Actually, not focusing down by anything here. The bunker's getting repaired, doing a pretty good job against these Stalkers and against these Zealots. The repair on the tank is keeping them alive there too. Kelazhur, with a nice micro, good decision-making there, actually does manage to stay alive against Hero's counterattack as a Phoenix flies in, gets shot a little bit in the face, and decides to head on home. So resources lost at this point are pretty darn close. 2,000 for Hero, 2,600 for Kelazhur. Any SCVs get killed there? I'm going to assume some. I mean, 3 to 1, really no major hits to the economy for either of these players. Third base now coming in for Hero at a pretty decent time. Third base being made by Kelazhur? No, not at this stage. I do like Kelazhur. He's a very solid South American player for Brazil. In particular, been playing for a very long time and just really great at the game of StarCraft. And his Terran has been solid as well. Tempest production is beginning for Hero now, so we'll keep an eye on that as he continues to make the very zippy, very fast Tempest. Very different from what we've been used to in Legacy of the Void with the Tempest unit. Almost an entire redesign of the unit, just increasing acceleration and top speed. I mean, it's a small change, but it really affects gameplay quite a bit. Look how fast it is. I remember the first time I saw these after the patch, and I was like, wait, what? That's a Tempest? They just come cruising across the field into your screen. It's really amazing. So yeah, Hero's going for a bit of an eclectic play here too. Zealots, Sentries, Stalkers. Got Oracles, Phoenix, Tempest in the mix. It's like every unit you can possibly make. Let's do this thing. Kelazhur settled into more of a Marine tank style right now. Just Marines, just tanks, just medevacs, getting combat shield and stim for his guys. Pushing out across the map to kill the Zealot, holding this Zelnaga watchtower, and they are going to kill him because he is just one guy. Is 1-1 done? Nope, no upgrades are done, but warp gate at this stage. It's 1-1's on the way with the combat shield. Charge is being researched by Hero for his Zealots. You're going to make any number of Zealots, just get Charge. It makes them about 80% better than they are normally. Third base done. I'm worried about Kelazhur not getting a third base here. I mean, you can keep ahead with mules on 2 bases to 3 bases versus Protoss, but in the long run, you want to have that third base for the extra income because it means you're ahead at that point. Viking fighting against the Oracle really wants the Oracle dead and does manage to pick it off there, while the Phoenix kind of ineffectually picks at the Viking, and by that I mean it is going to kill it. Oh, they both kill each other at the same time. The Simo kill. Don't see that very often in StarCraft 2. It is a rarity for sure. Pulling more SCVs. Here is Kelazhur. And he's going to try to pick off these Tempests with the Marines. Marines are actually still a really good answer to Tempest. Force fields keeping those guys away, though. Oh, they can sneak around the top side and the bottom side. All right, those force fields not as tight, I think, as Hero wanted them to be. Tank fire up here at the natural base, trying to wail away at a Templar Archives. Dude, sniping a Templar Archives is a decent hit. They do force a cancel on the Templar Archives. They're killing probes here right now. We've got another army. Oh, those are bunkers trying to be set up at the front door, but those are getting shut down by Zealots. Dropping right into this mineral line. The Oracle can't really do much. Does get eviscerated there as well. The Temps are trying to pick off the medevacs from distance, so the Marines are not as good as they otherwise would be. Stasis does catch all of the Marines in it, though. What a nice Stasis Ford that is. Meanwhile, tanks dealing with the Zealots that are here to deal with the bunkers, and too many Zealots, too much charge. Friendly fire on the tanks are going to cause major problems for them as well. And yes, that's a forced pickup and a retreat. These guys are going to come out of stasis, and there will be, I assume, something to... Oh, there's the Hero. You have to account for these guys. All right. Well, never mind. I guess they're going to finish off this tank. And maybe you can warp in some guys. Well, that's a little bit more difficult. And there we go. The charge lots do finally clean this up with some Tempest assistance there. So both players kind of pulling back, licking their wounds. A lot of stuff dead there. A lot of probes killed. 25 workers killed by Kelazhur. And 9 SCVs killed by Hero. And most of those because Kelazhur brought them across the map and they died. But he was okay with it because, again, mules. That at third base from Kelazhur at the 10-minute mark. He's inflicted a lot of damage on Hero, but guess who's up in worker supply? Hero is 54 to 48. So, I think he's all right. I think he's doing okay. He's been continuing to pump out probes off of 3 bases here, 3 probes at a time on the way. Replace his Templar Archives. He's getting Storm, which is really great against this Marine tank composition that Kelazhur is rolling with. We've got barracks, just more barracks, more tanks. Well, it's a reactor on that factory. Maybe we could see some Hellions, some Hellbats to deal perhaps with the Zealots that definitely are part of Hero's core army here. That's a lot of Zealots. A bunch of High Templar, Tempest, and an Oracle for the Protoss player. So third base is landed, instantly saturated by Kelazhur. Income is going to be higher by about 400 minerals per minute for the Terran player. Again, mules are good. Even though Hero is fully saturated on his 3 bases, you just can't keep up quite with that mule production. All right, coming in. Marines fighting. That's a lot of charge lots, though. I really feel like some Widow Mines. Okay, so double pumping Widow Mines. Kelazhur is right now to deal with these Zealots, which is a decent answer. I like it quite a bit. Hellbats have the problem of getting roasted up by Storm quite nicely, and there's a lot of Storm here as well. So we're going to do some dancing. Going to do some dancing here at the third base of Kelazhur. And see, these Tempests, normally they'd only go after armored, like big armored targets, but now whatever they want. Zealots charging on top of this great Storm on the tanks. The Zealots eating a lot of Storm there too, but they are getting the job done. Tanks on the high ground survive through the storms. Not too surprisingly there, and actually pushing back a little bit here with the Vikings. The Vikings are a great answer to these Tempests, doing bonus damage versus them because they are armored targets. The Zealots getting cleaned up by Widow Mines, by Marines, by tanks. These tanks have put in work. 4 kills and 8 kills on those guys. And finally, the Protoss army is shoved back home, but 7 SCVs were killed. The good news for Kelazhur is he kept his base. His army supply is ahead of Heroes right now, 38 to 30, and a 4th base is now coming in for Hero. Resources lost pretty close again, 11,000 for Hero, 10,000 for Kelazhur. Kelazhur holding his own and then some right now. Still down in worker supply, but again, mules are good. I'm going to stop saying that because I'm sure you're annoyed of it by now. But Vikings heading out trying to find more Tempests to kill. Or do we have any Tempests? We have 2, but no more in production for Hero. He's going into more of an Immortal style. He's going for Blink. And yeah, I mean, sure, some of these Vikings are going to die, but that is such a cost-efficient trade. If you can kill a Tempest and lose a Viking, that is something Terran fans will do every single day of the week, and Terran players do, as it turns out. I love the Ghost Academy from Kelazhur. EMP is good. EMP is good against Protoss. Snipe, well, steady targeting is also very good against these High Templar. You can pick them off from distance, take them out of the battle. Really, really useful stuff. Try to take a 4th base is Kelazhur. Zealot shuts that down with a very angry Zealot. They're always angry. They're always yelling, right? That's not what they sound like. I can't do the Zealot roar very well. Marines do manage to take him down, put him out of his misery. He'll come back as a stalker. Don't worry about him. But look at this. Is he just warping in? He's warping in something. Warping in Zealots at this forward pylon and then warp presenting them over to the right side. Kelazhur tacking on into the 3rd base of Hero. There's not much here to defend it. The army is now sneaking into position, but are they too late? I don't think they're too late. I think they can save it, especially with the storm that they're bringing. Is he trying to... Oh, he's trying to bait... Ooh, Zealot's taking some shots. They're decent Storm. But the heal is very good there too. Zealots coming on into the main, or the natural base of Kelazhur, getting shut down by tank fire and Marines as he's swinging on. He's trying to get into the main base too, but the Vikings actually shutting that down. Nice control by Kelazhur and use of his units. He doesn't know about this forward pylon, though. He's close to seeing it, but he can't quite see it. Shutting that down would be nice as far as preventing future harassment. Ghosts on the way. We've got Cloak coming in here too. Are we going to see nukes out of Kelazhur? That'd be very interesting. Very super interesting for sure. But it's going to be an army supply of 90 to 70. Kelazhur has the lead, but the great equalizer against this is Splash. That's what we have. We have Archons. We have High Templar. We are working on Tempest, which is not really what you need here. If you're a hero, I don't think. I mean, are there Liberators to take down? No. It's just Marine, Tank, Ghost, Widow Mine, and Tempests aren't good against any of those things, plus there are Vikings out. I think Hero may be making a tactical mistake here, continuing to make Tempest. We will see. All right, so Kelazhur pulling back a little bit. He's going to go ahead and go for a drop of Marines up along Hero's natural base here. The army pulling back. I think they saw that load up and said, oh, protect the homeland. We need it for stuff, you know. Heading on to the south is Kelazhur. Maybe trying to see, are there proxies down here? And yes, there are, but you're missing them. You're missing them somehow. Medevac does kind of bypass the natural base, dropping mostly in the main. Hoping that Hero maybe won't respond quickly enough, and he does. He automatically warps in a ton of Zealots to deal with this. Not great positioning for the Zealots, though, and they are going to get wiped out. Pushing across, Pylon gets taken out along the south side. Some Stalkers show up here. They do pick off the Medevac, and that makes these Marines a lot less effective. They are 1-1 Marines. The Storm melting them apart. 5th base on the way from Hero. Oh, he doesn't know. He walks right past the 5th base. Kelazhur, awareness. Oh, awareness, my good friend. Liberator. Okay, so there is a Liberator here, which is what the Tempests are for. They're going to pick that down from distance pretty darn quickly. There are not a lot of them. This is a lot of bio, though. Tanks setting up, kind of preemptively dodging storms a little bit, but there they are. The storm placement is so great on these Marines. Tanks fire and Immortals dealing with them quite nicely, and Kelazhur forced to flee from this location. It's now 86 to 59 army supply. Hero handled that like a pro, and the pro that he is. Liberator down, Marines stormed, tanks focused down here. Trying to keep his Medevacs alive, but this counterattack of Hero looks incredibly dangerous. 179, 181 to 115 total supply right now. Kelazhur is throwing up his 4th base. He's trying to get his planetary fortress ready to go. A secondary one, possibly, but the army is already at his doorstep. It's 104 to 67 army supply, canceling that command center. Tempest coming up to join the party here, too. The upgrades for the Protoss player are 2. +2 armor, and that is actually it. Working on +1 attack, but not quite there yet. So bringing in the Stalkers first, I guess maybe to try to deal with these Widow Mines, if possible. He'd rather have the Stalkers eat those than I think the Zealots at this stage. He's really keeping the Zealots back from this location. Yeah, Kelazhur's got his back against the wall. He's making Marauders. He's making Marines. He's getting +3 attack. His 2-2 is finished. Here he comes in now. If he can do this, it's going to be now. Zealots getting on everything. No Storm quite yet. He's kind of holding the Storm in reserve. The Zealots, the Stalkers, doing terrible, terrible damage here. The Immortals focusing down pretty darn good. The EMPs are doing some work here too, but there's not enough remaining units to take advantage of the EMP'd Protoss units. Widow Mines firing. Nice blink dodge by Hero, though. Beautiful blink dodge. 165 to 107 supply. Valiant effort there by Kelazhur, but I really don't see him winning this thing at all. He's continuing to make more Marines. Really, Hero is not replenishing his army at all. He's just going for upgrades because he doesn't need to be making army right now. More effective army is better army. Bringing in the SCVs to try to deal with this. The flank from the left side gets spotted. The Storm is there. Storm, again, not even needed on the right side. The left side getting most of that attention, and that is your good game. Kelazhur's defeated, and Hero is your winner in 17 minutes and 51 seconds. A couple more kills there, and he decides to head on out there too. So good effort by Kelazhur. Worked really, really hard. Was able to get some stuff done on the other side of the map. Really shutting down a couple attacks of Hero that he threw at him too. Good back and forth action on that one. But in the end, the Storms were placed way, way too well. The Immortals just refused to die because, well, they were immortal. The charge lots had great upgrades. +2 armor charge lots are so hard to kill for Marines, and that's largely what Kelazhur was going for. And then the Stalkers just there to deal with the Medevacs and hitting stuff from distance and blink dodging off of Widow Mines, and that's all she wrote. So wonderful job by Hero taking on Kelazhur, and it's about an 18-minute game here. And it was a good one. It was a good one by both players. Again, good efforts. Anytime you got 20,000 resources lost in a 15-minute game for both players, a lot of blood was shed. A lot of good stuff happened. But yeah, Kelazhur couldn't quite keep up in the economy. Couldn't quite do enough damage, I don't think, to the economy. I mean, he killed 30 workers, and you feel like that'd be enough, but he kept sacrificing his own SCVs in attacks that he was bringing across the map, and that just, it really added up over time. A lot of SCVs died on that total number here. I mean, 38 workers killed by Hero. A lot of that was desperation, SCVs getting pulled in the face of this attack. They were going to die anyway. They weren't really harassment necessarily. They were dead at the very end. So, Mersh. All right, that's going to be it from me today. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch. All at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.